Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into this. Thanks for joining the podcast. So today we're talking about this. Today's episode is 4 core principles.
Yeah.
Talking about the core.
Yes. Now, okay, let's back up. You hear the core, you hear the word core all the time, but why does it matter? Is it just a bodybuilding thing? What is it? Is it six-pack abs? Six-pack abs?
Yeah, well, that's a great question.
Like, why do we even care?
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people think the core. Most people at this point know that the core is your midsection.
That's about
right?
1/5 of it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is a lot of people don't realize that, and understandably so, because really the only part of the core region that's ever talked about is the abs, right? Everyone wants abs. I want abs. I want the 6-pack. I want the lean.
Yeah.
The 2-pack. I want to have you be cut. I want to be cut. But that's like 1, 2, 3, 1/4.
Yeah. Right. And then it's
right?
connected into everything.
Mm-hmm.
It really is connected to everything in your upper back, your pecs, and then down into your pelvic floor and your hips.
Yeah, and your glutes,
Everything between your shoulders and your hips.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a majority of your body.
It's your torso.
Yeah, yeah, but it is really important.
It matters because it's the source of
back pain.
Back pain.
Yeah. Yes. So when you have back pain, it is unless it's like an acute injury, like you just got stabbed in the back,
Yes.
It's probably, you probably have back pain because you have a weak core / you're not engaging and using it properly.
Right. Yeah. Now we've done a podcast on back pain before, and then that one we focused on the use of your glutes, which is very important.
Yeah.
So we're going to call the glutes part of your core system.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the rest of the core system today.
Yes. Yeah. Well, starting with the glutes.
Starting with the glutes. Yes, we're going to start with the glutes.
Because they're that important. They are that important.
Yes, the glutes are big muscles. They're not just vanity muscles. They have a very important function. So, and when you're not using them, you're skipping, like a lot of people, when they have to sit a lot, the nerves in your bottom actually go to sleep. Like if you take your thumb, do you remember this from Dr. Silver? You take your thumb and press on it really hard and hold it there for a while. Yeah. At first you'll be really aware of it, but after a while the nerves just kind of go, there's going to be pressure here for a while. I will just shut off. Yeah. And so when you sit for hours and hours at a time, the nerves and the connection between your brain and the glutes turns off. And so then we have to actively engage it. But what happens is people sit at the desk all day and they go do a workout and they don't consciously engage their glutes.
Yeah. The term I like is gluteal amnesia.
I call it dead butt.
Or dead butt.
Dead butt.
Because that's basically what's going on. I mean, you think about the lifestyle of most people today involves a lot of sitting, right? You are sitting in the car on your way to work, or if you're working from home, you go and sit at your desk in your office. When you get to work, you sit at your desk. You go out to lunch with your coworkers and you're sitting, right? You go back to work, you're sitting. You get in the car and you sit on the way home. What do you do when you get home? You sit on the couch, right? There's just hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of sitting, and that's not the way our bodies are designed, and that's why our glutes turn off. Yeah,
they just turn off out of necessity.
Yeah.
And so when you people know that they shouldn't be sitting all day. They're like, well, I'll go work out. The problem is they go to work out. It's possible to do all those movements in the gym bypassing your glutes.
Yeah.
The body's very smart.
Right. And that's why it's so tricky because I can say, all right, do a squat, Lynette, right? And I can look at you, I can watch you do a squat, and it can look like an amazing squat. But you may not be engaging your glutes and utilizing your glutes properly throughout that squat because they're a muscle that it's not always easy. A trainer can tell, by what we call ugly butt, right?
There's
you're
a
squeezing
certain
your glutes
appearance
at the top. But like for the average person, it looks okay. And
Yeah.
if you're like at the gym looking in the mirror watching yourself, you're like, oh, my form looks okay.
You can't see it in
Because
the
you
mirror.
can't-
Yeah.
you can't really tell.
Yeah.
So it's one of those difficult muscle groups to ensure that you're engaging, because it really does take for especially early on, it takes an active, like, mind muscle connection. Let me make sure I'm overemphasizing the squeezing of my glutes.
Takes a lot of effort
as my hips come forward.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to rebuild that connection.
Yeah.
In the nervous system.
Yeah. Now, why are the glutes so important, and why does a lack of their engagement lead to lower back pain?
Oh, okay. So when those glutes are not doing their job, the lower back just kicks right in. It's just a trick of the body. If it's like, we need to pick up this load, and we need to go up the ramp into this moving truck. So you're going to have to use glutes to do that. You're carrying a box, trying to climb up the ramp into the moving truck. Your glutes need to be doing a lot of that work. And, of course, the rest of your core. But it is possible to get the low back and the quads, the fronts of the legs, can take over and compensate for that.
Yeah.
And so that's when, and those muscles around your lower back, they are tiny muscles, and they are the purpose of those muscles. They're called erector spinae, and they're on each side of your spine. And they're there to stabilize the spine. They're not supposed to lift load. They're not supposed to bear all that load. That's supposed to be those giant gluteus maximus muscles.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for there.
Yeah.
So, but when they're being called upon to do the job of these big, huge gluteus maximus muscles, you might be okay. You might be a little sore after the moving day.
Yeah.
But you do that movement pattern, shoveling snow and working out in the gym, and you do that day after day, picking up your kids. Eventually, one day, you're going to get a bulging disc or just get some mysterious back pain, low back pain.
Yeah.
And you're like, I threw it out picking up a pencil or doing whatever. But that's not what did it. It was the 15 years of a faulty motor pattern.
Yeah.
And then the straw that broke the camel's back was picking up that pencil at the office at just the right angle, and your muscles were like, we're done.
Enough.
We've had enough.
We're taking you out. Yeah, we're throwing in the towel.
So the first step is get those glutes to fire. What's our second step?
Our second principle?
Yeah, our second principle.
So our second
core principle.
Second core principle is walking properly. And I actually learned this from you. So why don't you go ahead and tell? There's actually so walking is great for your core.
It's amazing.
But you have to be doing it the right way.
Yes. So doing the mall stroll is actually going to make your back worse. But walking really does heal the back. I'm a huge fan of walking, but you have to do it really briskly. And you have to go at a speed to where you are forced to swing your arms. And the way you swing your arms also matters. If you're kind of pumping it with your elbows at 90 degrees, that's not going to be as much benefit to all the muscles between your shoulders and your hips. You need to drop your hands and swing the arms from the elbows. Swing the arms from the shoulders. Right? Really let them swing from the shoulders. Walk like, those ladies you see with the sun visors, and they're out there doing their power walking. They look like dorks, but they're doing it right.
Yeah,
they're out there power walking.
Yeah.
Those women are going to have healthy backs. So you want to do, nice, nerdy power walking.
Yeah,
Lots
and do a lot of it. Lots of walking.
Lot of it.
Lots of walking.
At least 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be all at once. You can do in 5-minute spurts, but you want to accumulate 30 minutes a day, at least. More if you can.
Yeah. Our bodies are designed to move.
Yeah.
Our ancestors walked, 5-10 kilometers a day, just
right.
Like it was their life, just moving. It wasn't like, I'm going to go out for a walk. It was just there. And so those are the bodies that we have. And when we just sit all day, it's not, that's not news to anyone. We're not supposed to be sitting as much. We need to be moving and walking. It's good for us for a number of reasons. But
I love that about the systems in our body. It's built to reward movement. And sitting still tells the body we don't need to do anything anymore. And it starts shutting things off because it thinks you're in a cave dying somewhere.
Yeah. It's use it or lose it.
Yeah. It's what the body is built to do. All right. So walking, we got it.
We got third core principle.
Watch out for your sitting.
Yeah.
I know we've just mentioned sitting, but now we're going to directly address it because, so I've been listening to a book by Peter Attia, and who is a doctor who is a longevity expert. Okay. And he was talking about the importance of movement. And he was watching his 2-year-old do squats and lunges and hinging and just different movements. He was just kind of jealous of his toddler and how perfectly everything was engaged. Like the knees were just right. Everything was just right. Then he asked his 14-year-old daughter, can you squat? Can you lunge? Can you hinge? Had her do it. And it was all kind of funky. Like not terrible, but he could already tell it was a little off. And she was an athletic, active person. So he realized the years of sitting in school has untaught her how to move. Between being a toddler and being 14 years old, she had forgotten how to move.
Jeez.
And it just gets worse the longer that you sit and do things. So he said movement training is really an important part of gym workouts. So what's this got to do with sitting? All right, so we know sitting is too much sitting. Sorry, I'm not going to demonize sitting, but too much of it can cause you to forget how to move. So to remedy that, program into your day moments of movement. So if you have an office job, figure out like an easy way. I had a client that did this. She just drank a ton of water and was forced to get up to go to the bathroom.
That's two good things, get hydrated and avoid sitting too much.
Yeah. Just find some little ways, like yourself. If you know, if I set an alarm to go walking, I'm going to skip it and keep drafting that email.
Yeah.
But if you have to get up and go to the bathroom, you're going to get up and go to the bathroom. So do whatever's necessary. It's important and it's worth it to take sitting breaks. You don't want to sit longer than 30 minutes. I know that might be unrealistic, so definitely not more than an hour. You want to get up and go walk up and down the stairs, walk to the water fountain, just do what you can. Just get up and move. Even walk to another person's desk to say something to them instead of an email or a text.
Yeah, go distract your coworker.
Yeah, go distract your coworker. Or if you work from home, even easier. Go walk the dog, go walk around the block. Yeah. So get up as often as you can. Make some little goals. All right, I'm going to get up 5 times today. Check off the little boxes. If you're a box checker, do it, right? Or if you like stickers, I get a sticker every time I go. Whatever it takes, whatever dopamine hit you need for getting up and not sitting as long, do it. It's worth it. Okay, the fourth one.
The fourth one is bracing. Bracing your core.
This is huge.
This is one that is probably actually, I don't know, it's either this or the glutes are probably this. They kind of go hand in hand a little bit.
Most people can figure out how to squeeze their glutes somehow.
Yeah.
But core bracing is like foreign language.
Yeah. So core bracing is, a lot of people, they hear brace your core and they just think like tighten, right?
Or do I suck it? Suck in my stomach.
Yeah, suck in your stomach. That's not what it is,
yeah.
Right? So what bracing is actively engaging the core musculature, right? In order to stabilize your spine. Because as you mentioned, I think when we were talking about glutes, the muscles in your lumbar, your lower back region, which is where a lot of that core musculature is, it's meant to be stable. It's not meant to move. It's not meant to bend. It's meant to be stable. And you might be thinking, oh, if all my muscles are just stable, like how am I supposed to move? Well, you have movers, right, which are the glutes. So if I am actively engaging my core musculature, right, from my pecs down to my waist, right, if that is as tight as I can get it, right. And then I engage my glutes, okay? Now I'm standing up all the way. I'm bringing my hips forward, what's known as hip extension, but I'm doing it in the way that my body's designed for it to be done. Right? So my glutes are moving my hips forward, right? My shoulders are coming up while the muscles around my core are keeping my spine nice and protected. And the easiest way that I like to teach it is there's 2 parts to it, right? So number one, like pretend you're, the first part is like engaging the musculature itself, right? So pretend like if you were in a boxing match, right, with Mike Tyson, he's about to punch you in the stomach. What are you going to do? Now this isn't a perfect explanation, but this is just an easy beginner's introduction to bracing core, right? So you're going to tighten your abs, right? Or try to flex your abs, right? Is a really easy way to think about it. Give yourself a 6-pack and hold it, right? The second step is to take a deep belly breath in.
Oh, now you've increased the pressure.
Right. Now you have pressure from the outside and the inside. And it's important when you're taking that breath in, this is not a chest breath, right? It's not helpful if I just do a shallow breath into I don't need to brace my chest, right? I need to brace down there. Okay. That deep belly breathing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold that. So if I flex the muscles in my abs and I take a deep breath, right? And I'm holding it.
Yeah.
Now my spine is relatively secure.
Now
right?
you're ready to pick something up.
Now I'm ready to pick something up and protect my back.
That's a lot to learn. That's a lot for the brain. And so it takes people months to learn how to do this. So don't expect to be able to master this, within the first week of working out in the gym.
Yeah.
It is, and it is worth every minute of practice that you give it.
It's so important.
This is the foundation of working out.
Yeah.
If you don't have this foundation, you are going to get hurt at some point.
Yep.
And even if you're not, I don't go to the gym and, I don't lift weights. Like, you're going to hurt yourself.
We're seeing
moving a chair in your house.
We're seeing it now. I mean, ever since the pandemic, especially, there's been an increase in people's lower backs. And it's just because that we've just become more and more sedentary. Our glutes are less and less active. When you're sitting, you're not really using your core. Our core is becoming less and less active. We're just less active in general.
Yeah, everything has kind of shut down. We've got parts of our body that have shut off. So you've got to wake those up and retrain it. So it's worth it. So if you want to go start working out somewhere and, you're headed to a group class or personal training, ask the fitness instructor, how do I brace my core? Get them to help you with that.
Yeah.
So, So I love your explanation, like act like you're going to get punched in the gut. I use that cue. Another one I like to help people with, because a lot of times they will flare their ribs. And so I like ribs down. You got to do
that's a good one. Ribs down.
Yeah, ribs down, breathe in, get that pressure going. So because sometimes they'll brace their core, but their ribs are still up. So I'm like, ribs down.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Ribs down. Ugh.
Yeah, ribs down, breathe in, brace for the punch. Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
All right.
So that's 4. And then what's the...
Okay.
We got a bonus one.
We do. We have a bonus one. So we lied. We really have 5.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to put this bonus one in because I have some lower back issues over the years because my left knee doesn't really bend. Well, now it's more than 90 degrees. But for years, it was only 90 degrees due to an old injury. But I think I'm not the only one. So if you're out there and you have limited range of motion in your knees, which can happen if you sit a lot, you lose that range of motion. And then you start trying to do squats or hinges and you don't really have that range of motion that you need, it's easy to compensate for that by bending over more. It's just an act of, it's like a physics lever thing. Like if you can't get your hips to go low enough, then you just bend over with your back. And so we want to caution you against that because that will create lower back tension and eventually a lower back injury. So if you have that limited range of motion, just start with box squats. You can get a really great strength, all the benefits of a squat without injuring your lower back. So if you have that problem, you're going to a class somewhere and they want you to do squats, but you can't quite get deep because you've got that limited, like if you had knee surgery, ask for a box and just do the box squats, and then you can safely do those squats and not have your lower back compensating for lack of range of motion.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a great one. Yeah. Guys, we cannot overemphasize how important it is to take care of your core, learn how to brace. I mean, if there's one thing you should learn when it comes to how your body works and moving, it should be bracing your core, because that's going to spare you so much pain and agony in the future. Because if you're not, it's only a matter of time. You might be lucky. You might have avoided throwing your back out to this point. But if you are not, if you're not bracing your core, if you're not firing your glutes, it's going to happen unless you learn. And I'm not exaggerating.
No, I'm not. I mean, all the herniated discs, bulging discs, whatever the disc thing, whatever. It's because you're not using your core and your glutes. Yeah. And so we actually have Dr. Josh Funk of Rehab to Perform. He's going to be coming in on May 13th. It's a Saturday at 10 a.m. and he's running our Back in Action. Get it? Back in Action. Workshop, where he's going to teach everyone who
is in attendance,
Yeah.
how to brace their core properly, not
Yes.
just how to brace your core properly, but how to brace it through movement, right? So it's one thing to just be standing there and like
Right.
bracing your
I'm
core,
bracing my
right?
core.
But the important
Superman.
but the important part is to learn how to brace it doing everyday movements, which
Yeah.
is what he's going to teach us. So that way, you know, the next time you're picking up that bag of dog food out of your car and you turn the wrong way,
Yep.
you're sitting there waiting for, oh, I didn't tweak my back. Look at that. My core is engaged. Oh, okay. That workshop was any. So that's the type of stuff that we're going over. Super, super important.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, not only if you've experienced lower back pain before, and anyone who has, you know how excruciating it can be. You know, you can't even get up, and it's just not fun. But if you want to avoid that pain in the future, definitely check it out. We'll put a link to the registration for that website.
Awesome.
And then, I think that covers everything. Did I miss anything?
That's it. I just wanted to mention one more thing. Learn how to brace your core.
In case you didn't get that.
Preach.
Yeah.
That's the bread and butter of training. Learn how to brace your core, please.
Yes. All right, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. We will see you next time and learn to brace your core.